Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you as always for joining. To those of you who are new here, welcome. My name's Silhouette. I am a drag queen from Essex, and currently I can only post about once a month. So if you hit your notification bell, and it will notify you as to when I will be posting. It used to be weekly, but I haven't been able to get due to other commitments and that, I just haven't been able to get back up to the weekly basis. But I will always post once a month, and I'll always let you guys know when I will be posting. Now, for those of you who have been following me, you would have noticed my notice that I put on a couple of weeks ago surrounding the case of Adam Britton, who we're going to be covering today. Now, the reason I wanted to do this story is always crops up every now and then about bestiality. It's not the crime that really gets the recognition it should. I understand that obviously a lot of people believe that human lives supersedes animals' lives. What this man went on to do, it is absolutely shocking. I read the court documents on him, which is where I got all this information from, and it just puts in so many images in your head that you really don't want. Another topic that I've covered, if you watched my Ian Watkins video, but also the videos I did last year on the Enham Claw Horse case, and then Tim Amoroso. If you haven't watched those, then go back and watch them. One of the topics I cover is the fact that zoophilia and paedophilia always seem to intertwine in these stories. There's never one without the other. And just to post a trigger warning, and obviously I've said before that I don't really like doing trigger warnings because we all know what true crime can be. This is going to be extremely graphic. There is going to be very graphic talk of his crimes, graphic talk about the bestiality that he got involved in, but also very graphic talk of the child sex abuse material that he was in possession of. Now, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Please leave a like on this video, leave a comment if you feel like I've done a good job, or if you feel like I've missed anything out, leave a comment. I'll always get back to you guys, always read your comments, they're always really appreciated. With all that said and done, let's get into the story of Adam Britton. So, Adam Robert Corden Britton, he was born on May 16th, 1971 in Wakefield in West Yorkshire. For those of you who don't live in the UK, that is up in England. It's in England, quite right at the top. Beautiful area of the country. Moorsides, very very countrified, breathtaking. It's the setting of the soap opera Emmerdale, and obviously you have the Yorkshire Moors, which was the setting of the film American Werewolf in London, I believe. So, growing up, Adam had a close relationship with both his parents. He was the oldest of their 3 children, and they were quite well-off family, and they gave him literally every opportunity. They gave all their children every opportunity they could. Adam was privately educated. He went to grammar schools, and at the age of 16, he moves to Hong Kong with the family, and he completes his secondary schooling and education in Hong Kong. Once that is done with, he returns back to the UK, and he decides to study zoology in university. So he undertakes an undergraduate degree in zoology, and he then moves to Bristol. He studies a doctorate in philosophy, so philosophy in zoology, and he completes this in 1996, age 25. During this time, he gains a keen interest in crocodiles, and he goes on to become a leading expert in crocodilians. particularly with echolocation and how they hunt and everything. And this leads him to take a position up in Darwin in Australia. So he moves to Australia in 1996 and he's working on a crocodile farm. And this position he holds for over 10 years. At this farm he meets a volunteer named Erin, and she becomes his most serious girlfriend at this point. They eventually go on to buy a house and they marry in 2001. He then leaves the Darwin farm and he sets up his own business with dealing with crocodiles. Now, Adam's expertise on the subject of crocodiles led him to feature in a segment of a documentary that was hosted by David Attenborough, the legend himself, David Attenborough. This series was called Life in Cold Blood, and it focused on amphibians and reptiles, and this aired in early 2008. At the end of each episode, they had a little segment called Under the Microscope or Under the Telescope, and it just spoke about the specialist ways of these animals. Now, prior to marrying Erin, Adam had been in relationships which he said were non-sexual. It was actually his third relationship, so the woman before Erin, that he described as being his first sexual encounter. He said that this was a really brief relationship and he blamed this on his paraphilias. Now, whilst in court, Adam spoke to 3 separate therapists, 3 separate psychiatrists, and he said that he had an unusual interest in animals from the age of 6 years old. He would view images of animals urinating and defecating, and he had fantasies about being covered in cow feces and also rolling around in his own feces. He said that around 10 years old he became interested in animal sexuality, and he began masturbating to images and television shows around horses. He said his sexual fantasies always involved animals, and later in life he detailed in bestiality group chats about sneaking out at night to see the horses in a nearby field. He would hug them, he would eat their hair, he would lick their saliva, and he would rub their feces on his body. He began involving fantasies around dogs and wolves, but he later said in court that this was all of a fabrication to make him seem like a big shot in these bestiality group chats. He said that he attempted to build a sexual relationship with Erin, but he didn't enjoy this, and it became sporadic and eventually become a platonic marriage. He continued viewing bestiality content before going on to actually sexually abuse his own dogs, which started in 2014. In 2019, he creates an online account called Monster, and he begins sending out and receiving bestiality content. And he said that he only shared his videos because the person that he was sending them to was threatening to reveal his identity. And however, there was no evidence of these claims, and the psychiatrist said that he was aroused by the urine, feces and blood of the animals, but not by the actual torture that he goes on to do, and we're going to get into the detail of what he actually did. In 2022, so police become aware of his online presence. They raid his home, and this was in April 2022, and they seized 44 devices and this contained all the information they needed on his sickening crimes. Adam would use sites such as Gumtree to buy dogs from people, and he would build up a rapport with the previous owners. He would talk about the life they could give the dogs, and he owned a really decent sized property in Darwin at the time, and this property had acres and acres of land. On this property there was a large container, which is where he would film most of his abuse. There was some woodland areas surrounding the property where he would also go, and there's been a lot of talk online in discussion about Erin and her involvement. Erin had nothing to do with this. Erin said that because of obviously their non-sexual relationship, she was out of the house quite a lot of the time. She had her own work going on, and she would come and go, and she had no idea. There is footage of Erin revisiting the house quite recently, and you see the pain and disgust in her face, the fact that her own pets were abused in this way. In March 2022, an unnamed person sent Adam's video to an animal welfare group, and in this, the welfare group sent the videos over to the police, and they were only able to trace Adam through a lead that was featured in the video, and this lead had Darwin City Council written on it. So they go to Darwin, they look around, and they manage to trace the woodland area and the container. And this is when Adam is arrested in April of that year. In the videos, under the name of Monster, and there was also a second account called Cerberus, Adam made attempts to hide his face. He could do what he could to try and hide his identity. He made several attempts to hide his general area, but like I said, obviously police were able to track him down, so he didn't do that kind of a job. And the videos dated back to the 17th of November and the 6th of December 2020. So in his earliest videos, he is seen French kissing a dog. If you're not sure what French kissing is, it's just the use of your tongue. He's performing oral sex on the dog's genitals and their anuses, and he's forcing his erect penis into the dog's mouth, and he's digitally penetrating the dog's genitals. By digital penetration, obviously I mean fingers. He then ties a rope around the dog's neck and the muzzle. He lifts her off the ground, and the idea of the rope is obviously restricts her breathing. In total, it was evidence that in his videos he has secured 42 dogs through Gumtree and other classified adverts, and 39 of these were killed by Adam and his actions. When police raided his home, they had found severed heads and limbs stored in freezers all around the property. A string of videos dated between the 20th of June 2020 and December of 2021. Adam filmed a series of videos of him urinating and defecating on the dogs. This is going to become quite a common theme throughout the video. He's picking up his own feces and rubbing it in their fur. He's urinating in their mouths. In one video, he has a male dog eat feces directly from his anus as it's coming out. He then covers his hand in the feces and he begins masturbating the dog. He then gets the dog and squeezes the dog's genitals, and he's holding this between his thighs, so he's getting the dog to mount him, and he's holding the genitals between his thighs. The dog is then made to perform oral sex on Adam, and he begins flicking, slapping and punching the dog's genitals. In Count 30, it details a video dated December 2020 when he tortures a female dog. Now this is where it's going to get very, very explicit, guys. It's going to be quite a difficult listen. It was a really difficult read. If it gets too much for you, I'm just going to put a disclaimer here. If it gets too much for you, I don't blame you. I will let you know when it's safe to listen again, if this is too much. So, he's seen tying tape around the dog's mouth and neck. He's punching the dog's face. He's digitally penetrating her genitals. With one hand, he's masturbating while he punches the dog over 20 times. He sits on the dog's back and he's bouncing up and down whilst pulling on her ears. He's masturbating his penis on her head. He begins choking her. He ties the dog to a log so she couldn't move, so by her feet. He urinates on her. He pulls on her towel while digitally penetrating her. He picks up a knife and he cuts into her chest. He stabs her in the anus. He stabs the dog's face. He cuts her skin and peels it back like a page of a book. He cuts off her right ear. He then forces his erect penis into that hole where her ear was. He repeatedly stabs her in the anus again. He cuts open her genitals. He cuts open her abdomen and exposes her internal organs, and he pulls them out. He then lays around in her organs, rolls around in her organs, and he masturbates into them. All of this happened, up until the point he stabs her in the ears, all of this happened whilst the dog was visibly alive. Just let that sink in for a moment, guys. Counts 77 and 78 were a video from October of 2021 in which he purchased another female dog and her 9 puppies, and he said that in total this cost him $150. In the video, Adam is seen exiting his car and he undresses, so he's completely naked. He picks up puppy 1 and he strikes his head with a mallet 13 times, and this causes the puppy's head to open up and its brain matter visibly falls out onto a log. He then encourages the mother dog to eat the brain matter. He picks up puppy 2, saws it in half, and encourages the mum to eat the organs. Puppy 3, he stabs the puppy in its genitals. Adam is then seen masturbating before pushing his penis into the puppy's anus. He sits on top of puppy 4, masturbates as he chokes the puppy. Puppy 5 is stabbed in the anus and the genitals. Puppy 6 has the knife pushed into its throat and the blade actually protrudes out of its back. Puppy 7 is cut open and its organs fall out. He then makes the mother eat these again. Puppy 8 is picked up and Adam twists and breaks all 4 of the puppy's legs. He then cuts its organs out. Mum has to eat these, and then he saws off the puppy's head and he uses the puppy's head to masturbate with. He then urinates in the mother's mouth. He ties the mother down with a tape. He beats her 29 times with the mallet. He stabs her in the legs. He cuts off 2 of her teats. He cuts a hole into her abdomen and he stuffs 3 of the puppies into her abdomen. He then eventually finds puppy 9. The puppy has hid in the log, and he tortures the puppy in a similar way, stabbing it, beating it, and cuts it in half. The other videos that outlined in the documents followed similar themes of torture with female and male dogs. In these, he's seen beating the dog's genitals and the anuses with a wooden pole. He pushes the pole into their mouths, he pushes it into their anus. He performs oral sex on the female dog's vagina and the male dog's penis. He performs oral sex on both of their anuses. He forces his penis into their mouth. He urinates and defecates on them. He ties the female dog down into a star position. He then cuts off the outer part of her vagina with a knife and a pair of pliers. He cuts the inside of her vagina with a razor. He then picks this up and feeds it to the other dog. He then masturbates into the wound. He then takes a fish hook, puts it through her internal vagina and visibly pulls this out. Cuts off one of her teats, stabs her in the anus with a screwdriver. He forces a glass bottle into her anus. He then uses a dildo on her anus and then down her throat. And again, this is all visibly whilst this dog is alive. He then turns his attention to the male dog and he cuts off the dog's sheath. If you're not sure what a sheath is, quite a common term used with like dogs and horses. It's just the outer part of the skin that protects the internal penis of a stallion or a dog. So he cuts this off so the dog's internal genitals are exposed. He uses a metal mallet to beat the dog's scrotum and he crushes the testicles with pliers and then pushes needles into them. He cuts off the dog's leg and the tail with a saw and also an axe, and then picks up a pair of bolt cutters to break through the bone. He pulls the dog's toenails out, so obviously all of this is while the dog is alive. He then decapitates the dog, hangs the dog from a tree, picks up a lighter and a blowtorch and he burns the dog's exposed penis, sprays slut on the dog with orange spray paint, releases the dog from the tree and jumps up and down on top of the body. He uses the dog's head to masturbate and repeatedly kicks the head around like a football, twists the dog's legs to break them, and he then cuts the dog open and places the head into the dog's cavity. So now, obviously, that is the most graphic details I can tell you guys. If you did switch off there, you can now switch back on. For those of you who did listen to that, I really do apologise. I just wanted to highlight how dangerous and disgusting this person is. But we're just going to carry on. So using the counts under Monster and Cerberus, he would send out these videos and others would actually incite him to do what they wanted to see. The Monster account contained 114 threads. Cerberus contained 37. Both of these contained 260 images and a group chat called Doggo Nightmare, and this contained 36 images and also the following highlighted discussion. So, Monster, do you have access to dogs that you can snuff out and a place to do it? So, just to highlight before we carry on with that part, Adam is inciting other sickos to carry out their own torture methods, and he's actually coaching them on how to do this, and this is what the conversation is about. When I say snuff, obviously it means to kill them. So do you have access to the dogs that you can stuff and place to do it? The user replies, a place, yes, definitely, but not dogs. I can't remember the last time I saw a stray. I could try Craigslist, but it seems a bit risky and expensive. Monster, Do you have a place where people advertise dogs to sell, or are they giving them away? Because that's how you get them, no strings. You have to be really smart where you do get them. Don't go to shelters, private sale only. People will give them away because they're moving. No strings, no follow-ups. Craigslist is perfect, but you have to have the right dog, right price. Some will even give their dogs away for free. The dog might be vicious. I know people who get their dogs this way. I do. I don't use Craigslist, but I use similar sites. So the one he used to use was Gumtree. User. My real barrier is I don't know if I could do it. That's why I wish I knew someone in person. I'd love to watch it first. Monster. You have to want to do it. Either you hate dogs so much that you want to fuck one up, or you find the idea of torturing and stuffing them out hot. I am the latter. I like dogs. I like them better when I fuck them up. That makes the video hot. When the guy is really into it. But watch videos on dog snuffing and torture. Keep watching until you find it hot. So hot that you want to do it yourself. If you're afraid of hurting the dog, you will tap out. I almost did, but I pushed ahead and I really loved it. Destroying dogs is so fucking hot because it is taboo. More so because it is sexual. I get to fuck the dog and then fuck it up. So these messages, they carry on. They suggest moving quick to any ads that were giving away dogs. He suggests to move quick because in Australia and many other countries around the world, dogs that are going for free, they usually tend up being used in dog fights. And Adam basically says that it would be the waste of a good fuck toy. He details how his own pet dogs are his family, but how they love to eat his shit. They boast about the death and torture of the male dog that I've already detailed in the previous segment. He said that the dog only died when he stabbed the dog's anus, and the whole entire saga of that dog's torture took around 4 hours. The judge said, in terms of the objective seriousness of this conduct, it suffices to say that the depravity in those communications and the ideations matches the level of depravity you have demonstrated and recorded in the aggravated cruelty offences. It should be noted that the recordings provide clear and objective proof that you were in life doing what you said you was in those chat rooms. The judge then presided over counts 15, 16 and 17, and these involved the possession of level 5 of child sexual abuse material. So again, I detailed this in the Watkins video. In the UK we have a grading system, and obviously Australia has the same thing by the sounds of it. Level 5 is seen as the worst of the worst. It's BDSM, it's the involvement of animals and children, and they highlight a little bit of what was in these videos. They don't go into much detail, which other than the fact that it did involve the torture and sadomasochism of a child. The first one they highlighted, so again, if this is too much for you guys, switch off here. I will let you know when to come back. So the first of those were videos and images of a girl estimated to be around 2 years old. Adults are exposing her genitals to the cameras. They are digitally penetrating her anus, and they're making her perform oral sex on a dog. In a chat with another paedophile, Adam asked about videos containing urination and defecation, and the other paedophile said that he had something involving a male toddler, and Adam requested to view this. He then finishes with, "It's not really my thing, but I'm curious about dogs licking out little girls." So in the other video, there was a male child, estimated to be between a year old to a year and a half. He was subjected to abuse. The judge said was unsuitable to describe. So like I said, he was... what he did outline, the judge, sorry, was that there was BDSM and torture involved in these videos. There was another video of another male child. I'm assuming it was another male child, it might have been the same child, where adults are defecating and urinating on top of the child. In another exchange in September 2021, this discussed sex with dead and decomposing animals, in which the responder said that he had something that might entice him, might excite him. So he forwards some anime pictures, and this showed a small female child. So obviously, bear in mind, this isn't a real child, thankfully, but it's still highly illegal. And this shit is out there. You only have to go on Google and this shit does come up. But this was a small female child in various states of undress and decomposition. There were maggots and insects crawling out of her body and her genitals. However, police, unluckily, they weren't able to source where these images had actually come from. Now, in talking with court psychiatrists, it was agreed that Adam's paraphilia would never go away completely, but within time it would diminish, particularly if he did attend group therapy. But they highlighted that Adam was actually really reluctant to actually do any group therapy. They categorised him as a below average risk to re-offend, but he could remain sexually active for the next 10 to 20 years. So therefore he was a risk, and the risk did remain. Something that the judge agreed on, they added that he could potentially be suffering from depression and OCD. They hadn't done any tests to back this up. I don't understand why they put that in. They felt the need to put that in because depression doesn't make you do what he has done. OCD doesn't make you do what he's done. So I don't understand why they would have put that in. Several people who knew Adam, they had written character references. His mother said that he was a kind and conscientious person. She was aware of problems in his marriage to Erin. Others who had worked with Adam said that he was someone who was dedicated and enthusiastic. Former neighbours, they said that over a 20-year period, Adam always showed concern for other people's welfare. But all of them always finished with the fact that they were sickened and disgusted and in absolute disbelief to learn of his crimes. Now, to all of the charges, Adam pled guilty. Obviously, there was no way he couldn't. It was too much to back him up on this. And the judge took this into consideration when passing down the sentence and said that the discount would be moderate due to him being caught red-handed. And the judge placed a lifelong ban on him owning or working with animals upon his release. For the 45 charges against him, Adam was sentenced to 19 months imprisonment for each of those charges. For count 24, he was sentenced to 7 years and 11 months, 14 months for count 27, 12 months for each of the counts 18, 19 and 122. For the bestiality charges, he was given 12 months for each charge. He was then told he would serve up to 10 years and 5 months in prison to be served cumulatively. And there was a non-parole period of 6 years, which dated back to April of 2022. He is currently still in prison. Thankfully, I really hope he does get his just desserts whilst in prison, because you guys are not going to disagree with that. He is the lowest of the low, in my opinion. So now we're going to turn our attention to Colin Baker. He was the other person I did mention in the video, in my post, a couple of weeks ago. So Colin was... I couldn't find any background information on this man. All I know is that he wasn't involved in the torture, per se, of animals. He was just obviously someone who was a zoophile, and he filmed himself having sex with various dogs and chickens around his property. There was also a video involving a dead kangaroo that he had posted online. All of these were posted under the name Beast Boy. Colin was in a stable, committed relationship with another man at the time of his arrest, and he was arrested around the same time as Adam. And they had split up after the arrest, but sadly, for some weird reason, the partner has actually got back in touch with Colin, and they've got back together whilst Colin is serving his prison sentence. It was found that the partner of Colin had a small dog, and Colin was even seen on the videos abusing this small dog. I think it was a Chihuahua, so very, very small dog. And the partner just basically has completely forgiven him for any wrongdoings. I don't understand it. It baffles me. So apologies, it's only a shorter one this time around, guys. Because obviously I have covered these subjects before. I didn't really want to be repeating myself. Like I said, I couldn't really find a wonderful lot of information about Colin Baker other than the lead up and to his arrest and what he was involved in, what his subject matter was. But he wasn't as bad as what Adam was. I hope you agree there. But he still deserved his custodial sentence. As for Adam, words fail me when it comes to that man. Absolutely vile, sickening. How a person can be sexually aroused by doing that kind of thing, it's beyond me. To see the pain on a person's face is bad enough, but, and I think you guys will agree with me here, when you are doing this kind of things to a person, they have a chance to fight him back. A dog doesn't. You know, a dog is, other than its mouth, is completely defenseless, and obviously he's going to take great care in making sure that he's safe, because he's the only person that matters in this, in his head. So he's doing what he can to stay safe and stop the dog from harming him, so he can inflict the most unimaginable pain on these defenseless animals. I really hope that he gets similar treatment in prison, nothing more than what he deserves. I don't know. What do you guys think? After reading all that, after listening to all that, I would love to know your guys' thoughts and feelings on this subject matter. Like I said, it's only a short one because I didn't want to keep rehashing over the same things and give you information on this, because obviously I've already covered bestiality subjects in the past. And in regards to obviously zoo sadism, that was in the Timothy Amoroso case. So this just leads me to say a massive thank you to every single one of you who have tuned in. You guys are really, really appreciated. I can't do this content without you guys. Please like and leave a comment down below. I always read your comments. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And the next video If there's any cases you do want me to cover, please let me know. If not, the next video is going to be out around Christmas time, so look out for that. So hit your notification bell. And yeah, that is everything. So massive thank you. Now I'm still going to be doing my quiz nights as well, so just do something different to end on a positive note from this video. I'm still doing my quiz nights, so if you are around in the Essex area and want to come see me, come say hi, please do. And also follow me on Instagram if you haven't. The link to that is also in my bio. So I will see you guys real soon for the next True Crime Stories with Silhouette. Please stay safe.